one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, we thank you for sending your son to die on the cross for us, Lord. We celebrate this season. We thank you for the Christmas season and thank you for all the blessings that you give us. Ask you, Lord, to help us be mindful of your desires, your wishes for us and your guidance as we deliberate the business of the county, and help us, Lord, to just keep in mind what's in the best interest of all of our residents of Adams County. I ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, have you gentlemen had a chance to look at the minutes from December 19th?
I know Steve wasn't here, but they look fine to me.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
motion approved.
Yeah, fine, it's approved, so. Okay. We'll approve the minutes from December 19th. Thanks, Tony. What do you have for us?
First thing I have, I just passed out to you a little bit ago, the utilities paid in Lao. And those are in the amount of $32,497.08. $32,497.08.
I'll make a motion to approve those payments.
Second. Okay, motion carries, approved payments as presented.
And I also handed out to you the monthly weights and measures report.
Oh, yeah.
Submitted by Dan Hackman. Looks like there were 42 total inspections.
Ooh, no rejected.
Maybe they're catching on that he's gonna do it right.
Very good. So I'd accept a motion to enter that into record. So moved.
Second.
All right, moving and seconded to enter weights and measures report into record.
Okay. Then we have the payroll AP claims, which are the benefits and so forth. Kind of, you approve the payroll, the AP is all the benefits and stuff. And that's in the amount of $323,057.42. Eric, I think you called me on that and I explained what that was a couple of times, so.
Okay, I'd accept the motion to approve the claims for benefits.
Payroll AP claims.
Payroll AP. So moved.
Second.
Okay. Seconded to approve those claims as presented.
Okay, and then I also have, which I did not pass out to you guys yet, but I will now. Get a copy. That's here as well in a minute. Did I pass that out? No, I didn't.
Nope.
It's the animal shelter report. You playing Jeopardy?
No, I forgot to turn my volume down.
7, they still have 7 animals in the shelter according to this latest report submitted by Mike and Cindy Heiser.
Get down the street.
Yeah.
This is hard. I shouldn't know that, so
Are you really?
got my strap on.
Not working.
All right, any questions on the animal shelter report?
Make a motion to accept that report.
Second. Okay. Moved and seconded to accept the animal shelter report and
You guys need a copy of this. This is not working.
We'll go up, we'll do it upstairs.
But if you want to come up after the meeting, I copy it up there.
Look at it.
I don't know why it stopped working last week. Still isn't working. Probably one of those in one place.
Oh.
we'd have to look at the list and see whether it's.
Spelled out.
Yeah, I've got that list upstairs.
How's Clayton?
Good.
Getting any sleep these days?
No,
Good.
absolutely not.
That's a good reason to get up again.
Yep. Her favorite times are between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. So she sleeps all day.
Yeah.
You know, like she likes to fill the gap. If she's hungry at all, it's
Yeah.
between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. But she's perfect.
Good.
Write that down. There you go. Yep.
Everything there.
Where
approved.
it says
Uh,
prescribed rates, did that come from doctors?
There will be something later, but it's going to come up under county attorney. Several things actually that Clayton's going to do rather than me on different things. Waiting on a reply back because I might have one more thing, but I'm waiting for a reply.
Okay. So that's all for now?
Yeah, I reserve the right to come back to you
Okay, so
in
noted.
an official capacity.
The reservation so noted. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, Nate, do you have anything for us today?
No, actually, it was a short week, last week, so I don't have too many updates for you. Still working on the small structure list, that's what I'm messing with right now. So
Okay.
that, I think you've got appointments, so I'll make sure I'm still appointed for 24. So keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
Get in touch with you.
All right, I think it's just worth noting that Nate didn't have anything to say.
Better write it down.
You're going to get that in the minutes?
All right, Brad, Paul?
Of course.
Oh, we always have something to say. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I have one thing. We went through all the roof bids and, made sure everything was all right.
I had somebody contact me that wanted a record of all those bids. I don't know if he got with you or if he looked them up or what he did.
So we have filled out the bid tab for you. And
Thank you.
just to make note on them, if you look at the Jagger Construction, their alternate ended up being the snap lock panels on the roof, the office roof, which is just more of a standing seam than what normal, but we asked everybody.
It's a nice roof, though.
Yeah.
I like those panels.
And the DA Quality, their alternate was the office roof, so they didn't figure that into their price. So just to clarify. And then if you look down at the Cardinal Roofing, their non-inclusion was not notarized, so that kicked them out. So with that being said, Advanced Roofing for the $105,755 for the 25-year warranty would be our lowest bid. And Paul and I both went through them and then noticed everybody's doing basically the same thing.
Were they using the snap lock standing seam?
No,
No, just regular.
just a regular metal on the office roof.
Well, a lot of times we used to sell the snap lock standing seam on a lower pitch. So I don't know what the pitch is on the office, but
It's not that much of a pitch.
you know,
Yeah.
the big advantage was it went on faster and you had no exposed fasteners,
Yeah.
but it was more expensive.
Quite a bit more expensive.
So advanced with the 105, 755 and the 25-year warranty. Okay.
Correct, it's still the low bid. It's just-
Since Cardinal was actually the low dollar bid,
Mhm.
they didn't notarize the non-collusion. Is that the only, is that something that can be corrected?
It's an attorney question.
Well, we could throw all the bids out and have a great bid, but
Well, I'm just asking if that's something that can be corrected as a,
I mean, it could. You can't, obviously, we would have to hold the rest of these bids and allow them to get that notarized before moving forward.
I mean, the difference is significant. It's not like,
Yeah,
it's
well,
not
it
insignificant.
was one of them when we saw that, we're like, oh boy.
Yeah, I
So
mean, if you,
if they don't approve any today,
correct,
they could again take these under advisement.
correct. You take them under advisement. Obviously, you're not accepting any new bids. But to correct, I mean, in reality, I would just chalk that up to just a scrivener's error.
Yeah, to
I
me,
mean,
that
it's
feels
not-
like a correctable
it's not a-
mistake within the bid packet.
Yeah, it's not something
everything
that's,
else.
it's not something material to the bid itself. It's just they didn't adhere to the
Administrative error, yeah.
formalities. So if you reach out to them and tell them that, that it needs to be notarized, I mean, our office can do it if somebody needs to come in and I
Our
can
office can
notarize
too,
it or
two people
anybody.
would notarize it.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So I guess with them being the low bidder, with them having that administrative error in their bid packet, it would be my motion to continue to take these under advisement, give them a week maybe to get that missing item. And then look at these bids again next week.
Second.
Okay. Yeah, if you would do that and
Yeah.
see if that
And
clarifies.
maybe you haven't even looked at their bid, maybe there are other pieces and parts of that would be
No, we went through it.
non-conforming.
I
Other than
mean,
that, you
yeah,
felt like
that's the
it
only
would be a
thing we
good bid?
Yep.
Okay,
I mean, there was nothing that we would expect that was done for any kind of
Not that I know of, no.
deceptive intent
No.
or anything like that.
Well, and that'll be obvious if they go back to them and request it and they say, no, we don't want to do it,
Oh.
then obviously then it becomes, no, they're actively not wanting to notarize it and then we can't look at it.
Okay. All right.
You can do that vote also, Steve, Stan? You want-
Yeah, I
Okay, I'll
would
make
vote.
three, okay, 3-0, okay.
To
good.
take those under advisement once again.
Other than that, that's all we got.
Okay. Those permits to them.
Nope, I think the sheriff will be happy.
Okay.
We'll give up some of our time for him.
Okay, can I officially come back to you now? Mr. Chairman?
You mean like right now?
Yeah, I have an official capacity real quick.
I suppose since you got a reservation.
Okay. Well, our office has been working with the treasurer's office. We've got settlement that came back at our end. It's final and approved. The issue that we're having is there was an error on a deduction for a taxpayer. So we can't resubmit it. It's already final, but what we can do so that he doesn't have to pay an extra $1,200 or whatever it is in taxes. If you guys will have the actual numbers next week, but we can't until our software does a 17T. We can't even get the claim form or anything, but rather than wait till the new year in order for this taxpayer because it got screwed up twice. So I guess what I'm looking for and what I'm asking Clayton is if we can approve it with the contingency that we bring the numbers back next week and let you know all of that, if you would approve the basically cutting a check for the difference in the amount that.
As a result of an error in calculation, he ended up paying more tax than
Yes.
what was due.
Yes.
Okay, what's your
And-
thoughts on
It got messed up twice, so I'd like to get this taken care of for him. And then, obviously, we're just doing this contingent on the final numbers that we get. And once we get to 17T and figure out between Ed's office and my office what all it is, I'll bring all of that next week.
is there a reason you just want to bring all this back to us next week, or is there something you need to do between now and next week? I
Yes.
guess I'm confused exactly what
So-
you're asking us.
So that I can get it done. So that he doesn't have to pay the extra. Ed, can
He
you
wants-
help me
you want
make more
it-
sense of that? Kathy was working on that with Angie.
You want it done in 2023?
Correct. Want it done in 2023 in order, because of the way it works, 23 pay 24, 20, and all that stuff. And really all you're approving now is just contingent upon me bringing that back, but it allows us to go ahead and get it done in 23.
It becomes a clerical situation where you have to carry it over for an entire another year on the books. If we
right.
can get it cleared up in these 3 days,
Yeah,
it would be good for both our office and Tony's office.
and the taxpayer. And if we can cut that check, Ed, get that to the bank yet this week, and it'll be done in 23.
What's your thoughts? I mean, it sounds like it's a legitimate reimbursement and for the sake of, not, carrying it for a whole nother year.
But
Is
you're
that-
at, what are you asking us to approve, Tony? Can you put that in the form of a motion that I might want to restate? Because I don't know what you're asking us to approve.
To issue a check in 2023 rather than 2024, like Ed said, it would have to, if it's done in January, it's going to have to stay on the books the whole year.
Issue a check to who and for what?
To
To the taxpayer?
the taxpayer,
For this overpayment?
yes,
Okay, so that's all
Yeah.
you're asking us to do is
that's
just,
all,
you're just asking us to deal with this overpayment.
yes,
And once the paperwork is done, there'll be a refund of the overpayment.
correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the refund of the overpayment to the taxpayer in the amount of approximately $1,200,
I think that's approximately what I heard, right around there somewhere.
approximately $1,200,
Contingent on
contingent on
the auditor.
final paperwork being completed.
Okay. Appreciate that. I couldn't really spit it out how I wanted to say it there, but Ed helped me, so we're good.
So Kathy and Angie working on that.
Yeah. She was trying to tell me stuff as I was finishing stuff up for this. I'm like, oh, what? So,
I knew you wanted what you wanted in your head. I just need to be able to put it into words.
yeah.
Okay, I vote in favor of that also.
Small buddy.
Okay, that is officially all I have,
Yeah,
but I still reserve the right.
all righty. Okay. Rick's not here. Ed, what do you have for us today?
All my time's been used up by everything that's going on.
Well, you still help me though, so that,
I'm on the record. Rick's walking in the.
Oh, is he? Okay. Very good. Morning, Rick.
Hey, guys.
You are up.
Down.
Bill's off this week, so.
Looks like Yolanda's back. Is
Yeah,
she
she
full
is.
speed or?
She's full speed now.
All right.
You guys have anything?
we used up all your time too, Rick.
Not unless you have any progress reports on anything, any of your projects.
I guess a couple updates. Friday, well, we were closed Friday, but, a sensor went out in the elevator shaft at the main courthouse. So I got with Gene, we had to go over and fix it. This was Friday. Something I want to maybe get more in depth with you guys, not now. Christmas Eve, which was Sunday. Someone thought they had to come in and work out, but when they came in, they left the door stayed unlocked. Door one is the only door that's kind of set up different than everything else, and I'll get more in depth with that. But had to come and take care of that situation Christmas Eve evening, so in my opinion, I'm just gonna let it go at this. When this building's shut down for a holiday, it's shut down. And I don't think anybody should be in here.
I think we've had this discussion in the past, and there's a matter of coordinating with the Parks Department and just kind of letting them know that we'd rather them not have extra hours beyond.
Especially a holiday.
But I mean, they have evening hours too, so then
They
you'd
do.
have to decide what to do with evening hours also.
But other than that,
You know, as long as we're sharing this building with them, I think we kind of need to have some kind of arrangement. And you would know better than anybody else what a successful arrangement would look like. So if you have a proposal that would kind of allow them access when they need it, but still protect our security, I'd sure be open to whatever.
I'll put something together,
Yeah.
bring it in, go over.
Because we sure don't want people from the exercise room coming in through the office area and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know, Stan, if you remember, I did get quotes for that double door, and got with the fire marshal, because we weren't sure that we could do that. Shut this entrance off coming out of the gym, but we can. There has to be certain circumstances that need to be done. Obviously, that costs money, but I do have some quotes on that I'll get with you guys on that too. Basically, in a nutshell, it just stops anybody coming from that gymnasium after hours into this facility. So.
Like that. That makes a lot of
Well,
sense.
yes, if you've got a proposal for, like I say, a successful plan that accommodates their hours plus accommodates our security on this side, it'd be
Because,
great.
I mean, gentlemen, we've spent some considerable amount of money on security here as far, well, all of our buildings, really.
Well, Rick even mentioned that, to me, mistake on my part. I set up a meeting in here on a day that the building was closed. We went ahead and had the meeting. I've forgotten that the building was closed, honestly. I forget what day it was. I forget what day it was.
I think it was on President's Day or something.
Yeah, it was a holiday anyway that we were observing a private meeting in here. And one of the attendees at the meeting propped the door open. I didn't know about it, but they did. And as a result, there were some folks from the public that came in and thought the building was open, came in to do business. And it ended up the third floor and kind of ended up in kind of a big mess. So I think there probably needs to be a discussion anyway about when the building's closed and we don't allow meetings, I think that's fine to have that discussion. I'm not exactly sure where that goes, but I would not have scheduled that meeting had I thought the building's closed. We shouldn't be in the building that day.
Well, I think it really got them, correct me if I'm wrong, a few people came in, but it kind of was like a WebEx thing, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was a WebEx.
But that's basically in a nutshell what happened. The door left.
Somebody propped the door open and,
The door was open.
yeah.
And the next thing you know, we got people on the third floor.
So that was another instance of the building supposedly being closed, locked down, and we had people in it that I just should have scheduled that for another day, was all.
Well, like I say, you know more about a successful plan to make this happen than anybody else. So, if you've want to present something,
I'll get something together.
but, we do want to continue to accommodate the Parks Department and, the workout rooms, the basketball court, pickleball courts, we do want to accommodate that, because I think that's busy all the time, so.
I don't think we do, honestly.
Okay.
That's-
Very good. UPSs are in the power rooms.
Yep.
You've got air conditioners ordered, another
Yes.
air conditioner ordered for there.
They are, it won't be till after the first of the year when they come, but they are ordered. We're still kind of doing the same thing we were doing, Steve. The door's open, got a fan,
Got a fan in there.
but that is ordered. That's in the works.
Also on another subject, last week when Shelley Bright was in here, she is, obviously looking at a more comprehensive plan for records retention and storage and stuff. So part of the suggestion was to get with you to evaluate the rooms in this building, to see what we have, what's in those rooms, so I don't know if she's contacted you at all, but.
She has not, but I really briefly, Steve, and myself spoke a little bit about that record.
Okay. But yeah, if you want to get with her and Steve or however you want to do it, but that way, you and her can do a good assessment of what space we have here and what's in it.
And it really comes down to, is there some room possibly? But it's also coming down what we ran into before, Stan, was sharing.
Well, and if you want one of us to be involved, I'd be happy to do that. And
Well, I think you need to be.
yeah,
one or.
Because that's the bottom line. I mean, it's up to us at how this building is used. So, yeah, I mean, you can, but if you get with Shelley, I mean, you can certainly expect our cooperation because it's something that came from us to direct
Like I
her.
said,
So,
just a brief conversation. with
Sure.
Steve.
and if you want to do a walk around and you want one of us to be involved, yeah, you got it. So,
Sounds good.
yeah. All right, thank you. All right, Mark Wynn, did you have anything for us? Looks like there's some.
3 minor subdivisions.
Okay. Names are all under 21.
So corner of 500, 550 west, 900 north. Actually 600 east. That's my roads. Took this funky piece right here, turned it into 3 lots. 8.5, 28.2. All road frontage.
Interesting.
This is it's power lines. That's what it is.
Motion to approve.
I can see the whole. What you looking for?
The name, okay.
What name?
I tried to, okay. Where was it located?
550 west, 550 west, 900 north.
Its size is roughly, or 20?
8.5, 8.5, 28.2, 8.2, 31.7.
31.7, there's still 2. So,
Three lot subdivision, 700 south, 550 east. Just a square. They broke out these buildings and then they put a 2-acre lot in. They're actually, that's being suggested by Miller Land Surveying. Because if they ever change their mind and do what we call a simple subdivision, this could grow. But if it's not there today, you couldn't add it without doing a major.
Oh, right.
If you did a minor and only did 2 lots, you don't get the 3rd lot later. It's a major. So
gotcha.
they're throwing in a 2-acre. It'll probably, who knows what will happen to it, but that's so they have options later.
Their intention though is just to break out the buildings.
The intention is just to break out the buildings. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's forward thinking.
Good, motion approved.
Second. 36. 1, there's a 2, and there's another 2 here, okay. There are 2 2s and 136, right? That's it? 2, 2, and 36. Is there 3 lots?
This one's more than 2.
Oh, it says 2 here.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is. Sorry. Yep. 2,
And 31.36.
36.1.
What's it called? Narrow path.
Narrow path. Actually have the name.
It's probably an Indian name down there.
Yeah, could have been, yeah.
Kind of the same concept going on this one. Like the exact same concept. This acreage right here, which is 124, 200 east. This was one big rectangle. They're breaking out the buildings. And they threw in the extra 2-acre lot just for future if they want to do something with that. This is showing a tile that runs through. So that probably have to increase the side anyway, just to get the setback right. But again, they're just throwing in the 2 acres for now. They can always.
Motion to approve.
Good, second.
There's 3 lots there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, okay. 75, and then
3.6.
2, and 75, okay.
That's all I got today.
Got a lot of inspections this week, or are people kind of taking off?
Let's tune in.
Is everyone-
Yep. You see, I think, to double check it, I think we'll see the report next month. Around here, I think we're at 500, but you've never done it, so.
Right,
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Thanks.
thank you. All right, Clayton, what all did you have for us?
Alrighty, first, I have for your guys' signature, the animal care and control services, between the county and the city of Decatur. I just need your guys' signature. The city of Decatur executed it. Got the same thing for the town of Monroe. I just need your guys' signatures.
And we just need a motion to.
Motion to approve both. Yeah.
Local cooperation agreement.
So move.
Second.
Okay, I'll vote in favor of that also.
I can take those up, we're going to scan them for us, and I can scan you a copy of each as well. If that works.
Yep, and then we're just waiting on, obviously, Byrne and Geneva's. We forwarded those on to their attorney, so we should be getting those back, I assume, somewhat soon. The next I can start going over, while you guys are signing those, I have the sheriff's salary contract for 2024. Do you want me to go through that in detail before approval?
Is there any changes to it?
I don't believe so from last year, is it? Are those sure?
The dollar amount, there was an increase.
Or do you want to speak to that, I guess? What-
The legislation gave the judges a raise and mine triples off of that. And it just matched the same percentage I get. By statute, you get half of what, basically what the judges get. It's set by statute, so it's just the increase following that. But other terms of it are the same as last year's. There's nothing that's changed. The only thing in the contract from last year's to this year is literally the dollar amount. And that went off of the statute increase that the judges, prosecutor, and then by percentage I get also.
Okay.
So other than that, there's no changes.
Anything else you think, we need to look at before we?
It's just another thing too, it was set in the budget that way and the budget passed that way too. So council's aware of the number of what it is.
Yeah, and this will just need signed by, or approved and signed by all of you, and then approved and signed by council. But no, it's identical to the one we had last year, and again, like the sheriff said, it is all an animal of statute, so we didn't
Okay.
make
other
any
questions
additions.
for The sheriff or?
No.
So move.
Second.
Okay, I vote in favor of that all.
That's all those.
And then we have a lot of appointments. So we should probably, if you guys are willing, go through those today for approval so that they can be active, obviously, first of the year, rather than kind of retroactively appointing them. But that is up to you guys. If you'd like to wait until next week's meeting, we can do them at that time. It's completely up to you, gentlemen, when you'd like to go through them all.
I think we've got time today. I think if you'd like to go through them and we're ready, I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
And one that we will not do today, so, the regional sewer board member, one of those, you still need to find someone, so that remains open, so I won't obviously do that one today. And we'll just have to start their term after the date that we do find one approval. Okay, first one, and I have a letter here from the Adams Memorial Hospital. making a formal request that Larry Macklin be reappointed for an additional 4-year term on the hospital's Board of Trustees. It's one full-page letter, and this is the certificate of appointment, appointing Larry Macklin to the hospital Board of Trustees for a term commencing January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2027.
Okay, Steve, you sit on the hospital board, any,
I do. I'll make that motion. Larry's a very contributing member. I believe he's the vice chair of the board, does a great job, and I would recommend and make a motion that we reappoint Larry to the board.
Second.
okay, I vote in favor of that also.
I guess I could probably just, there's going to be a lot of them for him to sign, so.
You want to send them down one at a time, or you want either all? Start signing now,
Yeah, you can go fast.
because I'll have to take them back up for them to come in the office to sign. Like what?
The next would be the appointment of Philip Eicher as the Board of Zoning Appeals member for a term of from January 1, 2024 to December 31st of 2027.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
Take this. That's the meeting next.
The next would be similar, so an appointment of Paul Bright as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for that same term from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027.
So move.
Second.
I vote in favor also.
Also, an appointment of Aaron D. Selking as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
This next one would be an appointment of Paul Bright as a member of the Plan Board Commission for a term of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
The next would be an appointment of Dr. Kent Lehman as the member of the Health Board for a term of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
The appointment of Dr. Roger Thompson as a member of the Health Board from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
The appointment of Susan E. Zerker as a member of the Adams County Hospital Association for a term of January 1, 2024 to December 31, 2027.
So move.
Second.
See here.
I won't say that. I'm just looking for her on the list.
The appointment of Tyler Schuman as a Soil and Water Director for a term commencing in January 1st of 2024 and continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move. Vote in favor also.
The appointment of Jacqueline Searles as a Drainage Board Deputy for a term of January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Nathan Rumschlag as the Adams County Highway Engineer for a term commencing January 1st, 2024, and continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move. Any discussion on that?
As long as it says at the pleasure of the board, we're short leash on that guy.
Okay, we've got a motion in favor, so,
Second.
all right. I'll vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Brad Yoder as a Highway Superintendent beginning on January 1st, 2024, and continuing at the pleasure of the board in 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
The appointment of Paul Zerby as the Assistant Highway Superintendent commencing January 1 of 2024 and continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
Could you step outside a minute, Paul? I've got a few things to.
We have some witnesses we'd like to bring forward. So move, sorry.
Second.
I vote in favor also.
Spoiled again.
See here. The appointment of Mark Burry as the Adams County and Drainage Board Attorney commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
I'd vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Mark Wynn as the Building Inspector and Plan Commission Director commencing January 1, 2024, and continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So moved. Second.
I'd vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Brenda Johns as Golden Meadows Home Administrator for commencing January 1, 2024, and continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
My only question, since we're paying her as an LLC, does that change the appointment process?
The appointment is her, the payment is the other, right? It's still her.
But she's a contract employee.
Employee, she's not the contractor, but.
That's fair, yeah. I think that was just in there because of previous Golden Meadow administrators, so strike that. With her contract, you're right.
Already done.
So, I mean, there's no reason we have to affirm that we want her to continue as.
Correct, you're right. Yeah, it's contract.
That being said, I think she's doing an excellent job.
Agreed. Okay, the appointment of Mike Whirling as the county plat book technician commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board 2024.
So move.
Second.
I vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Mike Brown as the information technology director commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Trey Likes as the county veteran service officer commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Any comments from the public?
See, that was it.
Last time.
I'd vote in favor of that also.
There's no comment, Shannon?
The appointment of Jessica Rutschilling as Adams County Sanitarian commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board in 2024.
So move.
Second.
I'd vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Barb Lehman as the EMA Director and Advisory Board Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Dan Hackman as the Weights and Measures Inspector commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
Appointment of Rick Burkholder as Grounds and Facility Manager commencing January 1, 2024, and continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
Appointment of Max Beer as the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
Also, the appointment of Rex King as the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor also.
I think these were duplicative too, because then we already,
Some of them on two different things.
well, this is the Wabash Heritage River Corridor member. We've already
Yeah, we've already
accepted
done that
those.
one, yeah. That was Randy and Laura Schwartz.
Yeah, so we don't need those because we were.
Right.
Yeah. All right, the appointment of John P. Kintz as the Alcoholic Beverage Board Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So move.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
Appointment of Barb Lehman as District 3 Advisory Board Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024. Barb Lehrman, sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
That's a separate thing from the EMA director. Two
Yeah.
different things.
The appointment of Bill Grimm as the District 3 Advisory Board Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board in 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
Appointment of Kim Hyatt as Community Corrections Education Administrator commencing January 1st, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Vote in favor of that also.
The appointment of Stan Stoppenhagen as Council on Aging Board Member commencing January 1, 2024, continuing at the pleasure of the board during 2024.
Let's table that. So moved.
That's a 2-0 vote, right?
And
That's a
I
2-0
will-
vote.
I will recuse myself. It's a pleasure to serve with Michelle. She does an excellent job.
You're not gonna sign this one?
That's, is that the one for me?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll still sign it since they approved it.
Do I sign both places?
And you'll have to, you're already signing it. so.
I mean, I don't sign at the top though, too, or do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. What did we decide? Was there one for the CMHC board or not?
I don't know if that was in there or not.
You know?
I don't have one with me today. I think that was something I needed to look at still.
Okay.
I know I have an email from you about it. All right, the appointment of Rex Moore as the Title
Title
4,
88. 6.
Title 6, Coordinator for term commencing January 1, 2024, at the pleasure of the board in 2024.
One of the things that we discussed was having a discussion with Nate as to your opinion on how we should handle that. I know in the past, Tim Barkey was that representative. Do you have an opinion on that, how that should?
The Title 6 or?
Title 6, probably Title 6 and ADA compliance.
Title 6 was Rex and 88 was Tim, and then I did it.
Any thoughts on that as far as?
I do. Clayton and I had a meeting discussing some of the options as far as probably better ways for the county to address ADA issues and programming with the ADA barrier-free design and operations go far beyond your highway department.
Why don't we table that and then we can have further discussions on
I'll bring you Sam on it, and we want to make a Rex on it too, both discussion, there's some options that we can go through.
I would just, if you want to keep those, Tony, then we'll table both of those. Yeah, that is it.
Well, thank you very much. And what I understand is always Brooke that has a large hand in preparing those along with Angie right up in your office, Tony. And so, you know, that's always a big responsibility for us as commissioners to have good people in the right places. And so, you know, these people are vetted and discussed and spoken with as to what they want to do. And so, you know, it's a big process, more than just signing a couple papers here. So, you know, it's a very thoughtful process. And so that's one of the ways that we make sure things are done correctly.
I will double check. I know we already had the one thing with Randy and Laura on the Wabash. But they've signed, the commissioners have approved and all of that. I'll need to ask with the manager that we actually do still need the appointment form for some reason. I don't know. I can't think of a reason, but
Well, I think that the appointment form that we sent to the to that association, I think that counts. That is
I
the
think
appointment
we're
form.
fine with it, but I want to double check with them to make sure for the list that the two of them, I don't want to step on their toes,
Yeah.
but probably we're fine, but if not, we can always bring those or that one back as well when we do the other ones, if it's indeed needed, and I don't know if it is.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be a formality because again,
Yeah.
we've already appointed them.
So I make the ladies happy if they have it a certain way and they don't want to deviate from it.
Very good. Anything else, Clayton?
Nothing else on my time. Thank you.
We will have coming up, in January, we'll discuss our different boards that we sit on and see if we want to make any changes there or go ahead with the way we were or whatever. And we'll do that in our first meeting in January. So, along with elections. All right. Shannon, do you have anything for us?
I have an employee who is on FMLA unexpectedly, and they are going to be out. They've been out for a couple weeks, but they're going to be out for another couple weeks yet. So it just was looking for permission to pay them the 5-year pay because they have not received it yet.
Motion approved.
Second.
I'd vote in favor of that also. Thank you. Okay. Anything else from you gentlemen as far as reports or
I
thoughts?
think so.
Okay. Anything from the general public? Okay. If you'd like to come up front and introduce yourself, we'd appreciate that. So.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Connie Teeple,
Okay.
and I don't know if you're familiar. I had a house fire November the 3rd,
I'm sorry to hear that.
and I have quite a bit of extensive damage, all the trusses and back wall of the garage. I had to hire a structural engineer, and I have been working with Mark Wynn, and I have a letter from him, and I've been following his instructions.
Okay.
But I'm really, I received a letter from Nathan Shearer giving me 60 days to either tear down the house or hook into the sewer system. So my question to you would be, I don't intend to move back into the house. I intend to fix it, repair it, make it presentable from the outside, probably not the inside, and not live there, but I'd like to hold on to the property. So I can't see a reason to have to hook into a sewer system when there's no usage and nobody living there.
Yeah, if there's nobody living there and it's not gonna be occupied, that would be a question for Nate. And I'm not sure what his premise was. Was he assuming that you were living there or were gonna live there?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, before the fire happened, my intent was to, since the septic tank does not leak, I was told that I could have an outhouse and place it on top of the septic tank rather than hook into the system. That was my intent before the fire, but now after the fire, I don't have any intention of living there. So,
Gotcha.
so how do I get this corrected? I don't want to.
Well, I think there's probably two different issues. The one is if it's gonna be repaired as a residence, then a residence would come with an occupancy permit or expectation. And if it's going to be used or intended to be used as residence, I would assume that an occupancy permit would be followed by a requirement to hook into a sewer system. If the sewer system, if the house falls within 300 feet of a public sewer system, then state law says that you have to hook up. And I don't know that one time between the health board and the sewer board, they were looking at exemptions, and I don't know, I'm not familiar with what all those exemptions. So Nate, do you want to speak to that, or I don't really know.
If Connie's requesting essentially an exemption, she could file for those prior to a project, but if she's asking to, one of the alternates that we have in place as far as the exemption is for, primarily it's for the Amish, and that is if they want to use a gray water system or an outhouse, they essentially have to disconnect all domestic water into the facility. And so that would be something that have to be done to the property, and then that is recorded against the parcel, and then the district would opt out from the connection, but it's essential there can't be any internal plumbing in the property.
I wonder, you know, in this case, if it's not gonna be used as a residence,
Yeah.
I don't know how you address that.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a Mark question too, because does that comply with the land use area? I don't know what it's zoned. So essentially a cold storage, a residence that's not. So that would be something I don't know that the sewer district would have jurisdiction on as far as sort of use of the property.
Well, let me ask you this, if you don't intend to use it as a residence, what do you intend to use it as?
Just as a storage facility.
Storage facility?
Yeah.
I don't know if the plumbing would have to be disconnected to,
To be exempted from ours, yes. So she would just have to have the plumbing and the water taken out. 'Cause even if it's a storage facility and a restroom in it, then it would, I mean, if it was commercial or non-commercial, you'd have some sewage potentially being used there. But if she's got no water there, there's no sewage, we wouldn't have any jurisdiction as a sewer district.
There's no water because it's a well to start with, and there's no electricity, so there's no well pump to pump the water.
okay?
So there's no electricity, there's no utility. Storage, I mean, the ceiling is falling down in the bathrooms. There's no way you can use them. I don't see why it would be necessary to disconnect something that's already not usable.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if the plumbing is disconnected from the sewer and there's no potable water supply,
Right,
and it's gonna be used for cold storage.
yeah.
I don't know if that would exempt her from hooking up.
She just needs to fill out essentially record that she's had either it's removed or disconnected so that it can't be suddenly used again. But there's a process for it. I would encourage her to talk to Nathan Shear and file that. There's no big deal with doing that. We've done it before. It doesn't necessarily clear her from issues with the health department. I mean, she may have some issues with the health department or with area plan as far as dealing with land use, but as far as the sewer district and the letter that she's citing, I don't know.
Well, the other thing that makes me wonder, when you talk about structural damage from the fire, I don't know whether that's something that Mark Wynn has decided is not a safe structure because of the fire damage.
Well, I have his letter here to me and basically what he wants me to do to repair it. And I do have a letter, but I don't have it with me, from the structural engineer. And the two things he wanted repaired were the trusses, the roof, of course, the whole roof.
When you
And
say he, you mean Mark Wynn or the structural
the
engineer?
structural engineer,
Okay,
but Mark Wynn has a copy of his letter.
gotcha.
Okay, so it's just the two things, the trusses, basically the whole roof, and the back wall of the garage. So, and I have been working out there every day to remove the debris, take down all the gutters, so that it's ready to have the roof done. And I was working out there yesterday all day. So I'm working on it. I'm following Mark's letter, and I have it if you want to see it. I don't know.
Well, no, that's all right, because I think, we would operate on the basis of Mark Wynn's recommendations and also the Nate Shear's recommendations as far as sewer, and also the health board's recommendations as far as any current septic and
Okay,
health. So we've got three people involved that apparently will make decisions on how you proceed there with each of those three separate things, which it sounds like they all kind of are working together since you had the fire. So, but to me, the first thing I would do is make sure that it's structurally safe to enter the building. And so if you have instructions from a structural engineer saying these things need to be repaired, then if it were me, that would be my first concern is I don't want to go in there and have the roof or the ceiling fall on top of my head.
Mhm.
And then you wouldn't need a septic at all.
Yeah, well, Mark's letter has given me permission to go in. I've already gone in, torn up all the carpet, all the wet padding, and removed that, destroyed that. And now I'm basically working, I'm done on the inside. I'm working on the outside with the gutters and in the soffit and the fascia, getting all that gone.
So as far as the 60 days, is that because you're not hooked up to the septic?
Yeah,
What's the date of the letter? What's the date of that? When was the date of that letter he sent you?
November, the fire was on November the 3rd, the letter is dated November the 9th.
And I think that's just the bulk letter for the connection notices that went out. That would have followed or been just after the October honesty meeting. So I think it's just a coincidence, obviously with the fire. I think it was a group of letters that went out to numerous residents.
So my question is, do I need to be worried about them tearing down my house?
Well, I think you need to probably communicate with Nathan that your intent for the house is not to be used as a residence. And at that point, in order to be exempt from hooking up, you would have to disconnect interior plumbing and
The fire pretty much did that for me.
so, and that would have to be determined by somebody from whoever's overseeing that exemption. So,
Okay, so.
so it's kind of an unusual situation, but I mean, to have a residence as a house that you intend to just convert away from a residence to cold storage, that's an unusual situation, so.
Well, I understand that, and the thing is, Mom and Dad built that house. I don't want to sell it, I don't want to get rid of it, but I don't want to live there either, so. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that has maybe another property somewhere else other than where they live that they do something else with.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you could live
Yeah.
there.
but you're gonna have to talk to Nate and make sure that he knows that that's not intended to be used as a residence and see whatever requirements he has to prove that to him as an exemption. But like I say, make sure that it's safe structurally for anybody to be in that house, including yourself.
Yeah.
So,
So you do have jurisdiction over the regional sewer district and the health department, right?
we have jurisdiction over the health department, even though we have a public health officer that determines whatever those decrees are. And then the public health officer, which is Dr. Ainsworth, in coordination with Jessica Ruchling, who oversees the sanitary side of the health department, would coordinate those decisions. And then as far as the sewer district, that's operated by a separate board and governed by a separate board with a separate attorney. And so that's outside of the commissioner's jurisdiction. Now, the building department, as far as the structural side of it, that falls under our jurisdiction with Mark Wynn being appointed to handle that. So you've got several things going on there. Obviously, primarily the safety of yourself as you're inside that building, the safety and sanitation of the disposal of any sewage that happens on that property. And so there's several things going on there. So I wish I could give you a silver bullet answer, but I think we've got, with having Nate here to help with that side of it, he's been involved with the sewer district for many years. From a legal aspect, I don't know if Clayton has any thoughts on on how to help her, get done what she wants to get done.
I mean, you need to get in touch with Nate Shear and discuss with him the letter.
Could I do it by letter? Could I send a letter?
I mean, if you'd like to, I assume, did the letter ask for a response of any kind, his letter?
No, it just says, the undersigned represents the following action will be taken. The structure is to be demolished and removed within 60 days, or basically hook into the any septic water discharge lines. Leaving the structure will be cut and capped off, and any existing septic tank will be decommissioned. Well, I don't want to cave in the septic tank.
Well, and that letter too, and what you represented to the board here, that letter is not the sewer district telling you they're going to demolish your house.
Well, no,
That
they
is
want
them.
me to sign that I will demolish it.
Or the alternative, I mean, they have alternatives listed there too.
Okay.
And if you're going to try and use one of the exceptions that Mr. Rumschlag just mentioned, I mean, that's what you need to discuss with Nate. So if you want to reply by letter, that's fine. I think probably the most productive form of communication would be to have either an in-person meeting with Nate or a telephone call. But I mean, a letter would be fine. I'm sure he would get response to you. I mean, given the time frame that the sewer district wants some action taken, I think you just need to keep that in mind, given if you're going to be sending a letter, just mailing time and stuff like that. But I would initiate that discussion with Nate, because again, as Commissioner Stoppenhagen just stated, I mean, that's their jurisdiction when it comes to the sewer district. The board, the sewer district board.
There's no one that has jurisdiction over the sewer district?
The board.
The board governs the
The-
sewer district.
Board of trustees governs.
The board
The board of
Sewer district right now, couldn't she?
What's that?
On the third floor, she could give us.
So,
I would
so
I would set an appointment for either an in-person or phone conversation with Nate.
okay, but you said there's a board over the sewer district?
Yes,
I could meet with them maybe?
sure. I mean, they have public meetings as well. I don't have, do you know when their next public meeting is, Nate?
Third Thursday of the month.
Third Thursday, I thought we moved it up to 1 o'clock. So it's like 1 PM here.
Would
It's the same Thursday.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, second Thursday of the month.
second Thursday of the month?
January 11th.
January 11th.
So
Okay.
January 11th at 1 o'clock, they meet
Maybe
in,
I could get
they
on
meet
there.
in here. You could always request, I know generally Brooke Hindenlang at our office at Miller Brain Brown does the agenda for those meetings. So I guess you could request or just come as a member of the public to that meeting and discuss it. Obviously, if you want to take any steps before that, with that being quite a few days out, I mean, sitting down and reaching out and talking to Nate Shear would be a good option as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if that helps or not, but hopefully that kind
Well,
of,
this is someone
clarifies
else.
your option.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
all right. Okay. Anything else from the general public? Okay,
Motion adjourned.
someone, all right.